What is up, basketball fans? This is Zero Gravity, Apollo Media's NBA podcast, brought to you by Big City Wings. Shout out to Big City Wings for sponsoring this episode. Houston's Wing Joint, Apollo's Wing Joint. Go check out their daily specials all the time, every day. They just had an awesome Super Bowl watch party at all of their locations. Shout out to Big City Wings for sponsoring this episode. And thank you to Celebrity Mint. Go check out celebritymint.com and at the Celebrity Mint on social media to see their graded legal tender collectibles of Mike Tyson, Ric Flair, and more. They've got some awesome, incredible collectibles that you can have for your desk, for your home office, your home, anywhere that you want collectibles. Go get them from celebritymint.com. Thank you for sponsoring this episode as well. I am joined by the Houston Rockets. Houston Rockets Edition King. I got that wrong. What we learned, Houston Rockets Edition King. Josh Garcia, how we doing, bud?
Good, man. Lost a little bit of money last night legally.
Sure.
Wasn't a great game. Commercial sucked. Vibes were off until about midway through the third quarter.
Yep.
All they had to do was just keep pounding it with McCaffrey, and they would have won. I mean,
maybe
this isn't a football pod, but come on.
Yes, we talked about it on Play Action Takes, Apollo Media's NFL podcast. We recorded that today. It's up on our Apollo HOU YouTube. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so you never miss an episode of anything. Football season's over. It's time to take over, boys. It's basketball. It's basketball season for everyone.
Can't wait. Put your basketball hats on. Enjoy from here until June. I mean, the dog days of summer are kind of approaching. Yeah. That June to August, window stinks.
It
stinks. But we have 4 months. Enjoy it. Have fun. NBA is king right now. NHL is a close second.
Yep.
Spring training ball coming in with the bronze medal.
I think
coming in
here
in about 2 weeks.
Report like this week maybe, or maybe next week. There you go.
Sports are back. Sports are so back. It's time for everybody else to shine. NFL. We're here to talk trades, here to talk ball. Let's fucking get into it, brother.
Yep. So last week we only did one episode. We did a live stream on Apollo HOU's YouTube for the trade deadline. Full 3 hours, 11 to 2, and up until a little bit past the trade deadline, see if anything trickled in, anything big. It turns out nothing big happened at all.
No,
it was a dud. It was the worst trade deadline that I've experienced in the last 10 years on social media. Just like an absolute disaster of a trade deadline. From a consumer, from a content company's perspective, it was just not very fun. There wasn't a lot of big things that happened. Like, obviously, I'm happy as a Dallas Mavericks fan for what the Dallas Mavericks did, but I wanted something fun to happen, and nothing fun happened.
Yeah, a part of me really, and especially if you remember during the stream, I really wanted the Rockets to do something, and of course, I came back down to earth after nothing happened other than the trades that we'll be getting into here in a minute. Cool. The great teams got good, or good teams got great. Bad teams seemed to get worse. We had some mid for mid that we'll get into here in a minute. A guard for a guard situation. Bunch of stuff that we sure can give you some talking points on. But Let's just dive right into it, Stone. You got anything before I get into this?
No.
Sure. Cool. Yeah.
It's just like it was an absolute dud like that.
Yeah.
It's not exciting unless you're a Mavericks fan or a Knicks fan, in a sense that you like fix the problems that you needed to fix without putting in like giant pieces. Like you just plugged and play and you're good to go. Outside of that, it was the most uneventful trade deadline I've ever experienced in probably any sport.
Yeah, so what we're going to do a little activity here. I'm going to list you all 19 of the major, if you want to call it that, NBA trades that went down, and we'll give a little letter grade. And if you want to talk Mavs, Knicks, anything like that, please interject. Sure. I'll go ahead and get it going, man. First of all, February 1st, there was no trades in between February 1st and the 7th, I believe. The Rockets get Steven Adams. Memphis Grizzlies get Victor Oladipo and 3 second-round picks. Give me a letter grade, man.
C-, because it doesn't do anything this season. And obviously before that trade, we had the OG and Siakam trades from Toronto, getting them shipped out. So like the big stuff happened well before the trade deadline, which caused the trade deadline to kind of suck, but whatever. Steven Adams to Houston is good for next season. Oladipo does nothing. Hasn't done anything forever. So Adams is going to be great. He's going to be a great locker room presence, I think, for Houston and that young team. And I think he'll be fun as the backup center in Houston. I don't think he'll
Oh
start.
yeah,
I mean, he could start alongside Şengün in some situations against the centers. We talked about it on the trade deadline show, but outside of
yeah,
that, no, it's a C minus because like it was a trade for trade purposes. Like there was
yeah.
just nothing happened, and
Teams having two vibe guys. I don't know if I'm with it. Boban is kind of our main
just
vibe
ship him
guy.
to Dallas. We have an extra roster spot. You can cut
Sure,
him and send him
sure.
to us.
The band's back in. The band's
Starting center in the
all back in town.
2021 Western Conference first round against the Clippers. People
Ooh,
don't remember.
yikes. That team was going through it
Mm-hmm.
that series. Yeah, I'll give it a C plus for the Rockets. I think that Steven Adams is a top 40 center. How about
Yeah,
that? You like
sure.
that one? Top
Yeah,
40.
that's fine. I like him. He's good on
Yeah,
defense. He's good for vibes.
yeah,
He's good in the post. He's fine. I like him.
yeah.
He's great for the
And
Rockets,
you
but
had,
not for this
yeah,
season, obviously, because he's hurt.
you had to give up a lot for him. Seeing 3 rounders go. I mean, especially nowadays when most of the time, maybe not next year, the NBA draft is pretty deep. I mean, you're getting Jokic getting drafted during, Taco Bell commercials. Giannis. There's players that don't go in the top 10 that are really good still. So I mean, 3 round picks that does hurt a little bit, but you are getting a proven guy who's going on 30.
Yeah,
When
still
he
pretty
comes back
young.
with the Rockets, he'll be 31. So maybe a couple years out of him. Get some extra work down in the post, man. Need a big body. So I don't hate it for the Rockets. I just hate that it doesn't affect anything right
Yeah,
now because and even if we didn't get Steven Adams, it wouldn't have affected or not just Steven Adams, but even Robert Williams or other big centers who either need development or are injured. There's a lot of targets like that we had. Even Tyus Jones, other people like that. Daniel Gafford, he was mine for a short amount of time, and then your Mavericks decided to take him from
mm-hmm.
me. It is what it is. But we'll keep it pushing here. We got. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce Simone Fontecheco's name. Maybe I nailed it. Maybe I didn't. He's going to Utah for Kevin Knox and a second round pick and a draft right selection. Don't care. Kevin Knox.
NA. There, that doesn't
Yeah,
compute
doesn't
in the
doesn't
system on the
matter.
grading system.
Doesn't
Shout out
matter.
Kevin Knox though, Knicks legend.
Knicks legend, Fortnite suit
Yeah,
legend. That was peak gaming. Peak gaming. Fortnite came at a really weird time in gaming, and they really took it off. They really
yeah,
took
yeah.
off.
Fortnite
Shout
in
out
the suit,
Fortnite
right
more than
on
Kevin
draft night.
Knox.
That was interesting.
Yeah,
Sure.
that was a fun time. Here's my propaganda that I'm about to start. You ready? Boston Celtics acquire Xavier Tillman for Lamar Stevens and 2 round picks. Xavier Tillman is a very fun second center option on some teams, not on the
No.
Celtics, but 10th or 11th man. He can big body you. He can get a little shots up, not much, but the guy can play. I think that when you get a young guy like that, 22, 23, 24 years old, there's a lot of development to be had with the Celtics. Maybe the system with Missoula, Brad Stevens overlooking everything. I think he can develop into a seventh option for a team.
Wow.
Great, great, great selection for a playoff vibe team. They picked him and Jaden Springer up, the ninth and 10th men on good days. So if not, you have Jaden Springer who can absolutely lead the Maine Celtics to a G League championship and a weak G League if you want to go there. I don't know, man. I'm really trying to make the most out of this situation. There's just I'll give the Celtics a B for this trade. How about that?
Yeah, I think that's the right grade. I mean, they worked
Yeah.
around the fringes. They're already in they blew through the tax with their team. Like
Oh yeah.
they're in the third threshold. I don't even know if there is a third threshold in the CBA
Yeah.
salary cap, whatever the fuck they call it. I don't know. Yeah, the Celtics worked around the fringes. It was fine. Good for them,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Give him a B all
I'm fine with that.
around. We have Minnesota Timberwolves bolstering up their guard situation, getting Monte Morris, giving up Shake Milton and Troy Brown Jr. for a 2030 second round pick. Who reading is hard. They gave up a little bit,
Yeah,
but Monte Morris is good backup
and
guard.
Shake
I'm
Milton
seeing.
wasn't good for them, so it's time to move on,
Unfortunately,
and they did what they did.
yeah. Sometimes a player will come along when I think of big potential guys, but big vibe guys like Shake Milton. Just you have a great name. I'm thinking Bruno Caboclo. I'm thinking Cristiano Felicio. Felicio. I
I don't
forget how to say
remember.
his name. Sure. I'm thinking of cool, funky names that can just run up and down the court. Good for them that they got their backup guy. Anthony Edwards needs a right hand man or in this case, like a right toe man. I don't know what he would do for. I don't know how good Monte Morris could be in comparison to one of the best guards in the league, but when he's off the court, sure, he can give you 10 points. I'll give the Timberwolves a B minus here. Why not, right?
Yeah, I was thinking C plus. It was fine. It
Yeah.
was an upgrade.
Yeah.
It's better than average. And they got rid of something that wasn't working. So yeah, for Minnesota.
Yeah. So now we have, and I'm going to start just kind of running through these. You got Toronto getting Kelly Olynyk, giving up Otto Porter, Kira Lewis Jr., and a first round pick, but it's going to go through 4 different teams. Whoever's the least favorable out of Utah, Dallas, or LA, OKC, Houston, something like that. So Kelly Olynyk is one of those guys that he almost gives off Mason Plumlee vibes, like just a big, tall center that can do some silly things on the court and finish in weird ways, shoot weird threes, like just a good vibe white center. You know what I mean? And Kelly Olynyk, sure. I think if the Raptors are trying to make a, I wouldn't say push, but they want something at the moment to get them to attempt a play-in situation. I don't know what the deal is here. I give both teams a C. I don't see Toronto making a push in the last 30 games. I could kind of see Utah getting to the play-in, maybe a 10 seed. I don't know. It's just kind of a weird situation. Maybe this will help the Raptors in the long run. Once RJ Barrett and quickly, Scotty Barnes is in the middle of taking that second leap that we've seen over these past couple of years. Sure. The Raptors get their guy.
A plus for the Raptors. They're getting the Canadians all on one team. They're just slowly putting the Infinity Stones in Toronto.
Yeah.
All the Canadians.
Get ready to start speaking French again.
Gilgeous Alexander, Dylan Brooks, you're next.
Oh man!
Sorry, did I strike a chord?
The All Canada team. Wow,
that would be.
That team might give you like 50 wins.
That would be fun, right? Like give me all
that'd be pretty sick.
RJ, Shea, Dylan Brooks, Kelly Olynyk. It'd be fine. Dwight Powell. You can't have him, but he's also Canadian.
Okay. Speaking of buddies here, we've got Buddy Hield going to the Philadelphia 76ers. And if you watch our live stream, the Buddy Hield burner saga, any good food spots in Philly, any good haircutters in Philly, just put it out on the table. I love it. Philly gets their guy who can give you good shots, maybe be a little stupid sometimes with the shot selection, but he shoots them and he makes them sometimes. Marcus, you got Marcus Morris going to Philly. Furkan Korkmaz finally gets freed from the shackles of being a backup point guard or being a backup guard in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
No playing time, no vibes. Maybe he can, like I said, lead a G League team to a championship. That's what Rodney Hood is trying to do. So do something for us.
Yeah, it was a good trade for Philly. Marcus Morris actually got bought out and is heading to Minnesota. It looks like he's in.
Per the Pat Bev pod. There you go. Say that 3 times fast.
That was from Pat Bev. I didn't know that. I saw it on my timeline right before we hopped on. But sure. Buddy's good for the Sixers. I think they're going to add Kyle Lowry as well once he clears waivers. It's fine, but it doesn't matter until Joel Embiid's back. So until that happens, I'm not going to put a letter grade on it because I want to see it with Joel Embiid. Like once I see a game or two with that, and then I'm okay, sure, I see it works. Okay, no, this didn't work at all. I don't know what they were thinking, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, the Sixers are 10 games above 500, and they're continuing to lose traction in a very weak Eastern Conference. So I don't know if are they gonna dip down to a 7 seed somehow or a 6 seed.
If they get in the
play, a lot of ground.
That's real trouble.
Yeah,
real trouble.
Yeah, a lot of ground to make up for Indy and Orlando, but I mean, you never know. Over the next 30 games, something could totally change, and who knows? Embiid could be out for the next month and a half. I don't know. Could be longer. So great that they get another guy that they can kind of plug and play, like we've been talking about throughout. I'm really just trying to find the light in this trade deadline. And I think Buddy Hield might have been one of the better under the radar trades because he's been on the radar for he's been on the trade machines, trade radar for 6 years at this point. He's already in elementary school, already he's got got a loving mother and a loving father. This is crazy that we're seeing Buddy Hield still, on the trade deadline blocks. But finally, it happened, and sure, we'll give the Sixers a B plus for getting a great burner. B stands for burner.
Yep.
Give them a B plus.
That'll work. I'm
Yeah,
fine with that.
yeah, that'll do it. Sixers trade Daniel House, duck the luxury tax.
And
Rockets legend Daniel House, not applicable. No grade from me.
yeah.
Got OKC getting Gordon Hayward. If this was 2012, we talking super team here?
So
Just saying.
I like this trade. Said it on the live stream. A lot of people didn't really agree with me, but I think that adds like to their offensive ceiling. I don't think it adds to their like necessarily their defense and their team ceiling, but I think their offensive ceiling gets higher. So if Shea's not on it, if Chet can't make any shots, like you have the steady force of Gordon Hayward, like as your third or fourth option after Jalen. Like he's your fourth guy on the court if he starts. Like I don't think he'll start
Wow.
necessarily, but he's a good offense off the bench. He's good offense with the starters.
Yeah.
I think he could have closing minutes with that team if he's healthy, and I think he's a
Yeah.
good addition. However, the problem is that they needed a backup center, and they didn't even attempt to. I mean, they got Bismack Biyombo on the on the free agent side, but like
Yeah.
that doesn't move the needle for me. Like if they had gotten Daniel Gafford, I'd have been like, okay, like that's a good backup center. That's a good backup center to have.
Right.
And they didn't.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they tried. Obviously, Mavericks did that, but it's fine. I think the offense is good. I'll give it a B minus. Like it makes their
Yeah.
offense better. It doesn't hurt their
I'll-
offense in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, they had to give up Berton, some draft comp, Trey Mann.
Yeah.
They didn't give up too much. Trey Mann still has a little bit of potential.
When you have
but
33 picks to trade in the next 10 years, it's like
yeah. Go ahead and start it
yeah,
now.
you can do whatever you want.
I'm going to let you take the floor and have this Daniel Gafford conversation that we're about to
okay.
have. Brother, you have got it. The floor is yours.
Yeah, so Dallas traded for Daniel Gafford from Washington. They traded Rashawn Holmes and a first-round pick from Oklahoma City, 2024, and they did that through a 2028 pick swap with OKC. So OKC gets the most favorable pick out of everyone's picks that year. I don't know. It was a very complicated trade that took hours for it to actually go through and actually figure out what the compensation was. But Rashawn Holmes got him on draft night with the Omax Prosper trade with the Kings. And I was like, yeah, sure. That's a okay backup center for now. Like we'll upgrade. We'll get Clint Capella. We'll do this. We'll do that. And they never did it until the trade deadline. They get Daniel Gafford. And truth be told, I was like, Daniel Gafford would be good if like Maxi Kleber's good. And for the last week, Maxi Kleber's been good. He looks healthy. He's making 3-point shots, and his defensive anchor is looking good. I will say Saturday is a 2:00 game against Oklahoma City after the trade deadline, and Daniel Gafford, I think he started because Derek Lively is out. And buddy, the boy brings the energy. He's fun to watch, dude. Because he's just a bully down in the block, like in the post. He's grabbing offensive boards, he blocks shots, plays with tenacity, and he does the pick and roll with Luka. And he learned that after like meeting him essentially on the court before the game. Like just didn't even know Luka, and they're like, "Yep, we're gonna run the pick and roll and just fuck everybody." So
and it worked.
Yeah, it is a great addition because Derek Lively, he's been hurt a bunch this season. Just freak accidents like rolling his ankle because of Scoot Anderson diving at his knee. And then a broken nose from Wendell Carter Jr. the other week. So like he's missed time with things that don't happen often, like it's just a bunch of freak injuries. So Daniel Gafford was a great trade. It was a needed trade for Dallas. Like they had to make this trade. I understand why the compensation looks like too much for a backup center, but when you have Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving on your team, your window is now. So why don't you go do it? And that's what they did. They went and got the center, and they also did another trade that we'll mention later. So.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, all around I'd give the Mavericks an A minus at least on this trade, even if all goes to shit. Let's say hypothetically, knock on wood, this isn't going to happen. Derek Lively gets hurt again. You still have a big vibe guy in Daniel Gafford who can actually fuck everybody up. So this is perfect for you guys. If you want to go ahead and we could talk about PJ Washington right now. Please let's talk about PJ.
Yeah, I don't remember the compensation on this one. What was it? The
I'll pull it up for you.
2027 first round pick, top 2 protected, I
Hmm.
believe. Grant Williams,
Hmm.
Seth Curry. Is that it?
Yeah, noted.
Um,
Bang.
yeah, so PJ Washington comes in a bigger 4 than Grant Williams. They're the same height, 6'7". They're listed at the same height. Grant Williams is all of 6'3". Like the boys, he's just love you,
He's a
Grant Williams.
body.
Like I was very excited for Grant Williams this offseason. They did the sign and trade. They gave up a first round pick. They had to do another pick swap with San Antonio. Like they did all these things to get Grant Williams. And I'm like, yes, he's going to be the vibes guy. He's going to stick up for Luka. He's going to take the technicals when Luka should be getting technicals. Like he'll step up and take those for the team. Just a quintessential like hockey guy, you know?
Yeah, I
He's
like
gonna
that.
take the fights for their captain if the captain doesn't need to fight, like those kinds of things. Um, After the first 10 games of the season, I was like, this was the perfect trade of all time. It was the best trade ever. He was shooting 55%
Yeah,
from three. He
he
was
played
hitting
great.
everything. He was playing
Yeah.
defense, and then all of a sudden it just hit a wall. He got hurt, I think, and he was overweight a little bit. He lost like 30 pounds with the Mavericks. So Grant Williams, however frustrating you were on the court with your inability to dribble a basketball, drive to the paint, and jump, um,
Everything.
yeah, just anything that involves basketball. Outside of that, I really liked you. I thought that was great. However, after the trade happened, the first game in Charlotte, he's like, it's good to play for the team on the front and not the name on the back. You know, um, it's good that
Yeah,
everyone touches the ball. Like everybody touched the ball on every possession. Yada yada. Look, man, if you're gonna play with Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, no one should touch the ball other than them. Like everyone
yeah,
else
yeah.
should just
And
like wait their turn.
you're playing on a team with 12 wins, and you're excited about it. I like the
And
optimism here a
he's
bit.
back home, and apparently a couple weeks ago there was a kerfuffle in the locker room or during a game or something happened, and Grant Williams had been known to wear Luka Doncic's Jordan shoes, and Jordan 1s and Jordan 2s. He wore them with the Celtics, and when he came here, he continued to wear them. Over the last 3 weeks, I think, he started wearing the Jason Tatum Jordans. Um, so
Mm.
it was a must to get him out of the locker room. Apparently, he'd become an annoyance to everyone. If you remember in the preseason when they're sitting on the bench, him and Kyrie Irving are like one person apart, and Grant's just jawing at Kyrie, and Kyrie does the side eye at him and does a yeah. It
Yeah,
wasn't a good vibe from the start apparently, and it is what it is. You had to get him out, and PJ Washington does everything and anything that you wanted Grant Williams to do at a much higher level, except for maybe
oh
make
yeah,
threes at a better level. But when you look at it, he's playing for the terrible Hornets that they have 12 wins, is what you said. Like
yeah. I
he's
think
just
so.
chucking shots. Like his percentages aren't going to be as good as what they will be in Dallas because he'll be getting open shots because Luka and Kyrie are on the team.
Yeah, the stats are skewed in Charlotte, so you're going to kind of see PJ Washington kind of fall into his own over the next 10, 15 games or
Yeah,
so, and then you'll kind of really get an idea as to what you're going to expect from him going forward into the postseason. God willing, a second round for even a conference finals appearance. Some shit's going to shake in Dallas, and I'm glad that they took are putting the puzzle pieces together. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
And
So
outside of
good for
the
them.
LeBron trade chatter that didn't end up happening, which leads me to believe that LeBron's not going to opt into his $51 million play option and go wherever he wants to win a championship because it's
Hmm.
probably not going to happen in LA anytime soon. Outside of that
Hmm.
trade, I was just like, give me PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford. Do whatever it takes, like within reason, which I think they did. Um, because it upgrades the team to a point where all of those starters that were starting, like Derrick Jones Jr., Dante Exum, Tim Hardaway Jr. at some points, like all of these players that were starting, Dwight Powell had to start a bunch of games because Derek Lively's hurt. Like all these players that are starting are now put into their bench roles at 10 to 20 minutes a game, 10 to 25 minutes a game for some people. Like Daniel Gafford's probably going to be the backup when Derek Lively comes back. That's incredible because you're never going to have Kyrie or Luke.
Good
Like
problem.
you're never going to have Kyrie and Luka off the floor at the same time unless it's a blowout win in the fourth quarter. You're going to have one of them
Right.
on the floor
Right.
with Daniel Gafford on the bench unit. Like you've got your pick and roll guy. Dwight Powell's your fourth center. I don't know. It was just all around a perfect trade deadline for the Dallas Mavericks. It did everything they needed to do. It upgrades their ceiling and how they play for the next 30 games. TBD. They have to go 20-9 to win 50 games this season, which is probably what needs to happen in order for Luka to win MVP. And speaking of
Yeah.
Luka, he did win Player of the Week for the first time this season. even though he's had better numbers than every single player that's ever won it, Player of the Week this year in the Western Conference. Literally every single time he has blown everyone's numbers out of the water, and he finally does it on like a down week where he only averaged 31, 11, and 9. But
Yeah,
whatever.
let them have it. I guess
Whatever.
they have an agenda against our
Yeah,
man. It's
it's
fucked
fine.
up. It's real fucked up. Overall, got to give the Mavs an A minus
Yeah,
this trade deadline. Of course, you're not going to go out and get a star because DeJounte Murray didn't go
right.
anywhere. LeBron didn't go anywhere. I mean, there were options, but the options weren't presented to
Yeah.
you,
And you don't want
in the
DeMar
nicest of
DeRozan. Like,
ways.
that doesn't really do much for your team. So, yeah,
No,
no, they
no,
did what they needed to do. They got bigger, taller, better
yeah,
defense, and they just did what they needed to do. I'm good with an A
yeah,
minus
but
because it's not
yeah,
blowing everybody out of the water with those those two players, but does what it needs to do.
exactly. And who knows, down the line, you could get 5 more wins because of it, and that could be all the difference of a
And they
4 seed versus a 7 seed. I don't know.
ended up getting 2 second-round picks in maybe the PJ Washington trade from Charlotte. So now you go into the summer with 2 first-round picks and 4 second-round picks. If shit doesn't work this season, heading into the offseason,
Right.
you have that draft capital plus
You have
you have
something,
tradable
right?
contracts because Daniel Gafford, PJ Washington aren't making a ton of money. Obviously, Tim Hardaway Jr. will be on and expiring at that point. You got a lot of options to trade out, and you got picks to go with it. So I think they're in a very good
Yeah,
position and win-win situation, even though they're giving up trade picks in like
yeah,
6 years.
yeah, sure. They have something, and that is better than
Yep.
nothing. So let's say Luka and Kyrie doesn't work out, or whatever the case may be, they have something that they can fall
Yep.
back on. God willing, it does work out. But I don't know, man. Good for the Mavs. They're doing great things. But let's talk about another team who just blew everybody out of the water. I mean, the New York
Yep.
Knicks. And last time I checked, the Rockets were blowing them out of the water.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
could totally be wrong by the time this airs, but at halftime they were up 16, which is cool.
Yeah.
Don't look now, guys. Don't look now. The New York Knicks get Bojan Bogdanovic and Alec Burks. They have to give up a couple guys. Here's a couple guys.
Are we
Take
sure
them.
they're guys?
Quentin Grimes
Yeah,
is
that's fine.
for
I'll
sure.
accept that
Fournier is still on a bad contract, right? I think.
one. Yeah, I think his is expiring, but he's
Okay.
making like 19 this year or something like that, or something egregious, 18.5.
Okay. Yeah. I got NBA 2K24
That's
last
pretty
week,
much the only reason why. And I follow a bunch of Knicks fans.
Exactly. I was just doing a bunch of shit on the my GM, and I saw Evan Fournier's contract. I was like,
It's bad.
this is bad. This is
He was
bad.
free.
But
He
at
was
least
a
it's
free agent
expiring.
and signed with the Knicks. I just want you to know that the Knicks signed that contract, not somebody else.
Yeah. Crazy how life comes
Yep.
at you. The Knicks got great.
Mhm.
Immediately, like I said, almost overnight, you took pretty much everyone that the Detroit Pistons have besides Cade Cunningham.
Mhm.
The only competent players on that team. I'm glad that those two guys are free from whatever bullshit that they had to experience in Detroit because that team
Yeah.
sucked. Like peak bad basketball for especially the first 3 or 4 months of the season. I'm really glad that Alec Burks kind of gets to. I know he's a known rocket killer, but silent rocket killer, if you will. He shoots like 48% against from 3 against us. It's insane, dude.
Skill issue.
Like, and it's been I was gonna say it's been a couple of years now that he's been fucking us over. Great that the Knicks are bolstering their bench. They pretty much got everything that they needed. Mitchell Robinson's out for the season, correct?
No, he
Or is he coming back? What's his
He started
situation?
working out last week, I believe. I think he might
Good,
be cleared
good,
for basketball activities, probably in March, I would assume. Julius Randle,
good.
I think he's out for another 2 to 3 weeks, probably with a dislocated
Yeah,
shoulder, right shoulder. And then OJ Anunoby just had elbow surgery on trade deadline day, right after we kind of
yeah,
ended the stream. They announced it, so he's out for 3 weeks. Got that cleaned up so that way he'll be ready for the playoffs. Before the playoffs, obviously, to get regular season minutes back in there. So it's
yeah.
unfortunate they're not healthy right now. Jalen Brunson turned his ankle last week as well, so he missed a game or two. So he's not all the way healthy. So that's 4 of your starters. Not ideal, but
Yeah.
when you get
Yeah.
Bogey and Alec Burks, like it bolsters their bench. It makes them deeper, which I think is what you have to do. You have to have 2 stars and a deep team. Look at the Nuggets.
Exactly.
Obviously, the Nuggets have like lottery picks as their deep parts technically. Like when you look at it, like MPJ and Aaron Gordon, like they're a different kind of breed because Nikola Jokic is arguably the best player in basketball. So
Yeah.
yeah, that helps
Yeah.
when like because
Oh
PJ
yeah.
Washington and Daniel Gafford look a lot better as a Dallas Maverick player because they play with Luka Doncic. Like sometimes players are just in a great position because they play with great players.
I like that. I like
And
that a
the
lot.
the Knicks
Yeah.
have Jalen Brunson, who I love dearly, and Dallas Mavericks legend, has come into his own. He can carry you through a playoff series. We've seen it multiple times. He did it with the Utah Jazz when he was with the Mavericks. He did it last season against the Cavs. Like he'll fuck you up. He'll fuck you up
Oh, he
absolutely.
will.
And,
He
and
will.
Julius Randle can absolutely go nuclear for a game. I don't think they have 2 stars. I think they have 1.5 stars. I'll count Brunson as
Yeah.
1, and then you can count OG
Sure.
and Randall as 0.5 together. But outside of that,
Sure.
they don't have stars, but they have the grit and grind mentality of Tibbs as their defensive-minded coach, and then now they have spacing with Bogey and Alec Burks off the bench. Yeah, they killed the deadline. They same thing that Dallas did.
Yeah.
They went and got the pieces that they needed to do, made their team significantly better. They filled the holes that needed to be filled, and the Knicks didn't really give up much because they gave up. I mean, they gave up Quinn Grimes, but he wasn't even really playing because he was in Tibbs' doghouse. Like when you're in Tibbs' doghouse, you're not getting out. You just won't.
Exactly. And it is going to be a nice little University of Houston reunion. You got
Yep.
Marcus Sasser, Quentin Grimes. I don't think that they played with each other. Maybe they did for 1 year. Anyway, I'm really glad to see Detroit kind of
Trying things.
they're in basketball hell, but they're doing
They're trying.
things. They're trying, which is good, and they've won like 3 out of their past like 7 or 8 games. Cool, good for them,
Yeah,
right?
why not?
But yeah, man, New York, and we kind of made this joke earlier. Tom Thibodeau got his no tattoos, no swag guys, and is just loving every minute of it. I know Anunoby's hurt, but Bogdanovich, man, he's next man up in the Tibbs doghouse or whatever you
for
want to
sure.
call it. Maybe
For sure.
yeah, like so the way that this Knicks team is going to turn out, I'll give it an A right now. But I'm not even going to sit here and be like, oh, let's wait and see. I want to see it. So I'm going to sit here and say I cannot wait for playoff time to see this team succeed. Truly. It'll be fun.
They're a fun team. I really want them to match up with the Cavs in the first round because it would just be hilarious. Donovan Mitchell just going down for the 3rd straight year by Jalen Brunson. Just hilarious. I would love that.
Oh, man. Oh, fuck. I love the New York Knicks. Like we always say, basketball is good. Life is good when the New York Knicks are good. And let's keep at it, guys. I love it. Keep doing you, Tibbs.
Are there any more trades worth talking about outside of that, though?
I'm reading some. Man, I was just gonna say you got Pat Bev going to Milwaukee. We can touch on that briefly if you'd like.
I don't care. I mean, Pat Bev gets to go be teammates with Damian Lillard, who they hate. They both hate each other, I think. So it's like I don't care. Strange trade.
Houston Rockets legend. You got Royce O'Neal going to the Suns. Good bench piece, but they had to give up like 4 different guys. David Roddy,
single piece of assets that they had. It's all gone now. They have nothing left. Yeah.
Sure.
I don't think there's anything left.
Yeah, that's pretty much about it. Corey Joe going to Indiana. Cool.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks
for showing out.
Thank you.
We really tried to make it work though. We got 33 minutes.
That was incredible. We did a lot there.
Good job, brother.
So right after the trade deadline, I don't know if it was Thursday or Friday night, Thanasis Antetokounmpo hit the Sham God.
Yep.
I didn't go back to see which player got hit with the Sham God by Thanasis.
Right.
I was going to call him out. That guy has to take Thanasis's spot in the army, in the Greek army. Like he just has to go overseas and serve his time as Thanasis Antetokounmpo is in the Greek army, because if you let him hit the fucking Sham God in an NBA game, I don't care that it's garbage time. I don't care that you're a garbage time player because you're out there during garbage time. I don't care. Unacceptable. Luka was talking about hitting the Sham God in a game because Sham God is obviously a Dallas Mavericks coach. Luka was talking about it with JJ Redick's podcast. Great podcast, by the way. He was like, I really want to do it, but I think every time I try to hit the out part, like it's just going to get stolen. And if Luka Doncic is thinking that, how the fuck how did Thanasis do
it? Somebody said on TikTok the the Antetokounmpo social teams are in overdrive this weekend because I have probably seen that clip unwanted 10 plus
Oh,
times, and I
far too
still
many
couldn't tell you
times.
the guy. Yeah, I still couldn't tell you the guy who Sham got. And I'm sorry if I don't know ball. My
Yeah, I don't care.
apologies. But
You're in the Greek
I
army
was gonna
now,
say
so it doesn't matter. You're not in the NBA
I was.
anymore. You just got deported to Greece, and you're taking place as like corporate, whatever your last name is, in the Greek army.
Yep. Yep.
God bless.
Oh my god. Yeah. So the Nationals did a thing. Pretty
Yeah.
cool. I we're the NBA's in shambles because that
Yeah, that was
happened. And
brutal.
anytime a worldwide wob tweet filmed off of his computer when
It's
he
the
does it like
best.
this, just straight phone to
I love
computer.
it.
Anytime that it gets more than like 2K retweets in an hour, I know something crazy just happened. And of course, I saw the caption. I was like,
Yeah.
did he get ripped or like what happened here? Then I saw the video, of course, just shocked, bewildered,
Yeah.
if you will. It was insanity.
Rob's refusal to learn OBS is very funny. He just keeps ripping them. I don't know. I like it.
He's an old soul in a young generation, if you
Yeah.
will. And we were just talking because I've been sending you live police chases
You have.
recently. I've been thinking about worldwide wobs. Scott, what did he call it? Helicopter wob,
I
skycopter
can't
wob,
remember. Yeah, and he had
something like that. He would always change his
the Abby.
Twitter name
Yeah.
whenever he would do live police
Mhm.
chases. He hasn't done those in a
No, he
while, or
still
maybe I
does
don't get
them.
the
I
notification.
see him. I
He
see him
does.
on the timeline. It's not as
Okay.
often,
Yeah.
but he still puts them up there. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get the notifications anymore,
Okay.
but yeah, I need to. I need to experience that
He
again. I
doesn't
hate
go
that it's only
live. I think he
LA.
just tweets a link. So it's not the same, but he's doing the
Lazy.
same kind of thing. Yeah. He's getting a little
Tisk,
lazier.
tisk, tisk journalism. That's fucked
He's
up,
getting a
man.
little older.
Yeah, you gotta,
But yeah, that happened.
yeah, poor
For
guy.
sure. Was it it wasn't last night. It was Saturday night. Suns and Warriors played basketball, late game,
Yes.
national television. Steph Curry went pretty nuclear in the first quarter, right?
Yeah.
Like eight first,
Yeah.
or he had like 8 threes or 6 threes, something like that in the first quarter. Like
He was hooping.
he was
Yeah,
doing things. He was
sure.
doing things. Draymond obviously infamously punched Yusuf Nurkic in the face the last time the Suns and the Warriors played against each other when Draymond was on the court, pre-suspension, pre-anger management course classes, correction, whatever you want to call it. Steph Curry did a thing again. He did the thing again. The inbound pass was probably the worst inbound pass I've ever seen in my life. So there's like 2-3 seconds left on the clock. The guy inbounds the ball. It's way behind Steph where he was. Like he catches it, pivots, and immediately shoots it from, what do you call it, 35 feet, 34 feet maybe.
Yeah,
and just
it was up there.
Chunked it up there. And as soon as he caught the ball, pivoted, and started to shoot the ball, everyone and their mother knew that it was going in. Every single person.
You saw how quick the motion was when he did it, and you were just like, fuck, he's in rhythm. Mm-hmm. Oh, he's in rhythm. He's going to fucking make it, isn't he?
And he absolutely did.
Drains it.
They won like 113 to 112.
Yeah. Just when you think Steph Curry and the Warriors are dead, they pull you back out of the grave.
Yeah, pull you right out of the grave into the 11th seed. Neither here nor there. But Draymond, at the end of the game, calls Kevin Durant a pussy, yells at him. I can't remember all the other words that he said. He said a lot of words to Kevin Durant. And then post-game in the locker room, Yusuf Nurkic goes, Draymond Green did not learn a single thing. It's only a matter of time before he does it again. We are not talking about like a serial killer, Yusuf. We're talking about a basketball player that happens to like be a fiery personality that sometimes throws punches. Let's take it down a notch, pal.
I love the soundbite and the potential with that. But like I always think of the NBA graphics that people make, like the make it a graphic, and the replies and stuff like that. I think it'd be a great graphic. But he's not going to kill anybody. He'll come close if you really didn't have any people holding him back. But I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, let Draymond do his thing, because like obviously this needs to get figured out.
No, for sure.
But it's never going to. It's never going to. Draymond is Draymond, and the amount of publicity that he brings, not only to himself, not only to the Warriors, not only to the NBA, but in general, like it's every league needs Draymond. You know what I mean? It almost feels, and maybe this is a weird comparison, but hear me out. It almost feels like modern day like PED guys from the MLB. Okay. Like everybody needs a bad guy to kind of lean
Yeah.
on and be like, fuck you,
Everyone needs to do steroids, is what I'm hearing.
Yes, the steroid
Bring it
Olympics.
back. I'm going in.
They're
I'm going
dropping
to start
soon.
hitting the HGH and getting back in the pool. It's going to be
Oh
sick.
yeah, brother.
It's going to be
Dude,
awesome.
we got
Can't
fucking
wait.
Stony Phelps in the flesh,
Yeah,
dude. Oh my
can't
god.
wait. Cannot wait.
Oh.
Yeah, so that game was fun. And Draymond, that was the first game since he's been back that he looked like Draymond because of the fieriness. Like he's been very conservative, and I don't know if laid back is the correct word, but just like non-confrontational. In this game, he just started talking shit immediately. I loved it. It was very funny.
Yeah.
So welcome back, Draymond. Steph Curry doing Steph Curry things. It was a very fun game. Fun late night game. Couple more things here before we go. Kobe Bryant. Welcome to the Statue Club. 3 years too late.
Right.
Let's actually say that it's like 8 years too late. Like he should have had a statue the year after he retired in 2017. Like they should have commissioned it right after the 60-point game in Staples Center against the Utah Jazz. Like commission it then, get with them then, come up with it in 6 months, and then start building it. Like it should have been up 2017, 2018. We shouldn't have deal with this right now where we don't have Kobe. Like let's honor the people while we have them here. You know, that kind of thing. But Kobe,
they had a chance.
First of 3 statues at Staples Center, aka Crypto.com Arena. It will always be Staples. It will never change. It's like the Forum. It's going to stay the same. But it's a still moment from his 81-point game when he's walking off the court with his. He had number 1 finger hold up on the right hand. It's a cool statue. There's a triangle base for the triangle offense. The 5 Larry O'Brien trophies are behind it. I can't remember what's written on the front of the triangle base, whatever. Cool statue. Great work. Whoever made the statue needs to just go from the neck down, arms, legs. You can do all of that and then bring somebody else in to do the face because it doesn't look like Kobe Bean. It just doesn't look like Kobe Bean.
Yeah. And an easy play here is to be like, oh, it looks like the Ronaldo statue, but
it's not as bad, but it's like it just doesn't look like him.
It gives off the vibe. I feel like the eyes and the mouth are kind of hollow. You know what I mean? It's just there's no life in it.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Kind of what the biggest problem that I had with it though was the hairline and the hair color like mismatch that was going on.
But you do have to realize like Kobe was balding at that point.
No. He was, but if you look at like the general, like just I'm not talking about how like the hairline was kind of faded back. I mean in general, like the color mismatch was so off. Like if you look at it again, I didn't like it. I didn't like the head.
Okay.
The head was weird. So peep it when you get a chance. You'll see what I'm talking about. But in general, the statue is great. I would say top to bottom, but we'll say middle to bottom.
Neck down is great.
Neck down, yeah. And I like the flowiness of the jersey, like how we mentioned pre-show. Like it kind of reminded me of the NBA 2K10 cover where the jersey's kind of out a little bit, and he's doing the fist pump.
And it was those big Adidas jerseys, the silky ones. Yeah, they were sick.
When someone who was like 6'5", 6'6", 220 pounds, they were wearing like 6XL jerseys.
Speaking of those,
awesome.
I have a Michael Redd game used jersey from that era, a red one from Milwaukee. It says Milwaukee on the front, 22 Michael Redd jersey, game worn. I put it on as a child. I got it for my 13th birthday from a family friend who his uncle worked for Milwaukee Bucks, got the jersey that way. But just an absolutely swimming in it. I am full grown now as a 27-year-old male and still swimming like past my knees. And I know that Michael Redd was a tall individual, but like, was he that much taller than me? Like he's probably a foot taller than me.
Yeah,
I have like 3 feet of like it's down to my fucking ankles, dude. Why are they so big?
Jesus Christ!
Why was it so long?
This is like a modern day situation where if you know like you've seen Bowls kind of like archive fashion that he does and like all that shit like on Grailed, when he'll post like a 3 or 4 XLT, and I'm just like, damn, dude, like. Oh, somebody's barking. It's got to be like dude. It has got to be the longest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
it's incredible. Shout out the old jerseys, man. I love those.
Yeah,
I love those.
They were good. But yeah, shout out to Kobe. First of 3 statues, so I'd assume the next one's going to be a number 24 statue. I think is what his late wife said, and he's going to have another statue, a 3rd statue with him and Gigi. in the statue as well. So that's going to be
cute.
pretty sick,
That's cute.
pretty awesome.
Nice.
Good for Kobe's family, and all of his teammates and everyone that loved them. So shout out to Staples Center. They got a lot of statues, dude. Jerry West, Shaq. They've got Wayne Gretzky out there, I think. Like, they got everybody out there. Last thing before we go, Cleveland Cavaliers. We haven't really talked about them, and I've been thinking about talking about them for the last 2 weeks, and we just haven't put them on the list. We put them on the show notes. They won 17 of now 19. They just lost the 76ers. Recording this on Monday, February 12th at 9:17 p.m. is when we're recording right now. They just lost to the Sixers by 2, but 17 out of 19. And wanted to point out who they've played. They've played like the Charlotte Hornets, the Washington Wizards, the Brooklyn Nets. They played the Bucks twice and split that one. That was their one loss before tonight against the Sixers. They played the Joel Embiid-less Sixers as well before this and won, but they lost this one. Their schedule hasn't been hard. But winning 17 of 18 before tonight, 17 of 19, as of right now of recording, is still an impressive feat. And they're coming for that number 2 seed and trying to solidify. Like, I think they're 2.5, 3 games out maybe of the – or they're like 5 games out of the 1 seed.
No, I was going to say they are a 2 seed.
They're 5 games out of the 1 seed is what it is.
Yes. There you go.
Yeah, they're making a charge. They finally figured things out while Darius Garland and Evan Mobley were hurt. And are we heading toward a Ewing theory situation?
Dude.
Because they've been playing – I know they haven't been playing the best teams, but they finally figured out, like, 1 big, 1 point guard, 3 shooters. That's the move. We roll with that, and we're really good. But all of a sudden, now you got Darius Garland coming back, Donovan Mitchell's back, Evan Mobley's back. Like, now you got the 2 bigs, 2 point guard kind of situation rolling again, 2 ball handler situation. How are we going to fit the roles? What are we going to do?
I don't know, man. Something's got to give. Top to bottom, the team is really great. Isaac Okoro's kind of fallen into his own. He's not an amazing player,
Great on
and especially
defense,
for a pretty high draft pick, but he's a great defender. He can shoot enough. He can get you some points. Georges Niang is averaging almost 10 points and has played in almost every single game this year.
Sure.
So they have some guys, you know what I mean, outside of
here's a guy.
The core. Now here's a guy. Yeah, Georges Niang. And here's a guy who I don't think anyone's ever said that before. But
we just did.
Here we are, folks. Here we are. Outside of Donovan Mitchell, Garland, even Jared Allen, Mobley, the team is teaming. You know what I mean? They have a squad and it's working. I'd love to see them play better teams and win against better teams, but you can't knock 17 out of 19.
No,
you know what I mean?
It's
not a coincidence anymore. The team is good. I hate to say it, but the team's elite. I know they just lost to Philly tonight, and of course, recency bias will tell you otherwise. But come, late April, May, June. I mean, Eastern Conference Finals appearance. That'd be cool. I don't.
As long as they don't have to play the Knicks, that's their boogeyman right now. They do not want to see the Knicks. They got embarrassed.
If they can get out of the first and second round without somehow playing Milwaukee, Philly, Boston, New York, that's not going to happen, obviously.
Right. Yeah.
But if they can somehow manage, you know what I mean, to either avoid those really good teams or, maybe in a second round series, send one of the good teams to 6, then we'll kind of look at the team and be like, hey, this wasn't a failed year. You guys did good. You guys did great even. But Donovan Mitchell, he needs to turn it up in a playoff series. I'm not saying I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, he's a choker. Like he's a great player.
Yeah.
But I just want to see him play in those playoff moments again. And I can't wait to see him run it back.
Yeah, I will say that 2022 first round series when Luka was a little bit hurt, Jalen Brunson took over. I mean, Donovan Mitchell was putting up like 30, 40 almost every game. Like he had 1 or 2 games that were duds out of those 6-game series, but he was putting up 30 plus the rest of the time, like easily. I think he had a couple 40-point games in that series. They just couldn't handle Jalen Brunson. Like pre-New York Knicks Jalen Brunson, where we didn't really know what Jalen Brunson was. Like it was very funny that he was just torching them and running Rudy Gobert off the floor because he could not stay on the floor because Jalen Brunson was attacking him in the post. So funny. That's
life is beautiful.
It was great. And Luka came back and they lost the first game when Luka came back. Like, and we're like, oh, maybe we just bench him. Let Jalen Brunson run the show for this round and let Luka get healthy. But I think the Cavs are good. I just want to. You can't knock the 17 out of 19. I won't do it. It's incredible. It's a very incredible start. We need to have conversation about it. That's why we're talking about it. I just want to see them in a playoff series. I don't care who it's against. I just want to see if they've got the dog in them. Do they have the dog of the week in them? AKA, dog of the week from Beyond the Diamond baseball podcast on Apollo Media's podcast network. Check that out. Coming probably here in a couple weeks before spring training. We'll get that going again. Yeah. Do they have the dog in them? Like, can they just win a playoff series before I'm like, I guess that's all I need to see. If they win a round one series, I'm like, okay, they are good enough to win a playoff round. Now they have to go play the big dogs, aka Milwaukee, Boston, New York, whoever it may be in the second round, and that's where they're going to run into trouble potentially. So I just want to see them win the first round, and then I'm very confident in them, which is a very high bar to set because it's the playoffs, and not everyone gets to win in the playoffs.
Let the Cavs have their fun, whether it be for now or if it bleeds into April, May, June somehow. Yeah. Jesus. Let him have it. And I think that, overall, Jared Allen's a Texas guy. I've never hated USC basketball. I think that very underrated program. Shout out Bronny James, Evan Mobley.
DeMar DeRozan.
He's getting it done. So like I said, the East is kind of at a very vulnerable point. So you can see a top 4, top 5 team. I wouldn't be surprised if, like I said, if I named the Celtics, the Sixers, the Cavs, the Knicks, the Bucks, one of those teams could totally get beat in the first round.
Oh, for sure.
I don't think it's likely. I mean,
we watched the Bucks get beaten in the first round last season against the Miami Heat. Yeah. Like, the Heat will be in the playoffs somehow, some way, and no one wants to play them in the first round if they make it out of the play-in.
Oh, no.
They're going to be in the play-in, so they get to do it again this year. But
I can't wait to see Orlando send a team to 6. You know what I mean?
I have the Orlando Magic win song stuck in my head 24 hours a day.
Orlando Magic.
Every single day. I see TikToks and it's just in my brain for the next 7 days.
It's fire.
24/7. That's what I dream about. That's what I think about. Why do the Dallas Mavericks not have like a 6 song from the 90s? Why do we not have one of those? I need one. I need a song
somewhere
like
in
that.
there.
I gotta go find it. I gotta.
Yeah, when I think of those silly songs like the Bulls, of course, you had the Rockets, the
New York Knicks have a great song. The Friday Night Knicks on MSG Network from the 90s. That one was always great. The Orlando Magic song, and they have literally 2 words in the song. It's just Orlando Magic, but the beat
plays,
and it's just so good. And the memes that they do now with the videos post game, like, it's just like random shit, and then all of a sudden it's random people dancing, and it's Orlando Magic. It's so good, dude.
It's awesome. Just add some 808s to it, and add some 808s to some.
Don't even touch it. It's perfect the way it is.
No. I'm saying I feel okay, because if you heard the original version, it was just like Orlando Magic. Okay. It was like a kind of like a New Jack Swing kind of soul song, because that's what the era that it was in. But then for whatever reason, either a TikTok admin or somebody added some 808s to it, and then that's when you hear the boom 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 magic. Yeah, like the shit bangs, dude. The shit bangs.
It's so good.
So I love it.
It's so good. Shout out the Orlando Magic.
Love it.
Yeah. we're running on just fumes here. We're 53 minutes into the podcast. This has been Zero Gravity, Apollo Media's NBA podcast, talking about everything and anything that happens in the NBA. This week, we're going to have something new outside of the podcast realm on YouTube. So make sure you turn it into the Apollo HOU YouTube. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an episode. You never miss a video. We got a lot of good stuff, especially coming next week. Surprise one-off video. It's going to be really cool. Pertaining to baseball. But it's pertaining to the Apollo personalities as well, content people. So it'll be interesting. It's a fun video coming out next week. Got new stuff coming in later this week on the NBA content side. It's been Zero Gravity, Apollo Media's NBA podcast, brought to you by Big City Wings. Shout out to Big City Wings, Houston's Wing Joint, Apollo's Wing Joint. And thank you to Celebrity Men. Go check them out at celebritymen.com to see their graded legal tender collectibles of Mike Tyson, Ric Flair, and more. It's been Zero Gravity, Apollo Media's NBA podcast.